Hi guys, so today I'm upcycling our wardrobe that we bought from a charity shop here in France. So I'm going to sand it all back just to give it a key so that we can paint it. We're going to paint it probably with an undercoat and then paint it on top of that with the actual colour we want. So my job today is just to get it sanded and ready for painting. So let's get going. So that was a bit of a nightmare because there's obviously like a varnish or wax on top of the furniture. When I was sanding it back, as soon as you kind of rub it with the sandpaper, it just sticks to the sandpaper. And I only had a little bit of quite coarse sandpaper. So I was trying to use that to get as much of the worst off as I could, which is what I was doing by hand for most of it. But I've hopefully now given it a good enough key ready for its first layer. We'll probably do that inside. But that was a bit of a pain. I'm glad that's finished. So there we are. We've put on one layer of chalk paint, basically because we didn't have enough of the French chic to do two coats. So what we've done is just an undercoat of some old chalk paint that we've got. That's obviously the first coat there. And then hopefully tomorrow we'll put the final coat of French chic to match our island colour, which is down there. But it starts to look really good. So above the doorway from our carport out into the garden where our new kitchen has been, this was above the door as a lintel. So I wanted to reuse it basically in our new kitchen. So we're going to use it as a shelf. I've just sanded it down and I've also given it a quick wash. Next thing is to get it in place, measure it up, and then I can kind of drill some holes and get it on the wall. So I'm going to mark where the holes are onto the wall and then drill them and then fit some anchor bolts into the wall and then drill into the wood so that I can then put the wood onto the anchor bolts, and that should hold it in place and then look like a floating shelf. So I've used masking tape to put a line right across the wall, and I've marked where the holes are, and then I'll use the masking tape to transpose that onto the piece of wood so I can mark exactly on the piece of wood where I need to drill for the anchor bolts to go into the piece of wood. There we are, the shelf's up and it's nice and secure, and we've got all of our cookbooks up there and a plant, and I think it looks really good, so I'm happy with that. On to the next job. So there we are. As you can see, we've now painted the larder cupboard. It's looking good, it's in situ. The next thing we're going to do is actually try and tile the shelves that we've put inside. So as you can see, we've put a spice rack on one of the doors, and we've also cut this just to make it slightly smaller so it fits the spice rack when we close the door. But the next plan is to actually put some of our tiles on the shelves, and this will also help the food stay cold when we put stuff in here, so it'll act a bit more like a larder cupboard. But what we're going to plan to do is lay all of the tiles out, get them all pre-cut so they're all ready, and then we'll mix up the tile glue and stick them to the shelves. So let's get going. So what I've done is I've measured and cut all of the tiles needed for the cupboard for each of the shelves. I've put them all into the cupboard, made sure they fit, and then I've just taken them out, laid them on the floor, and now I'm going to wash the cupboard, make sure there's no dust, and mix up some tile glue so I can stick all the tiles in. So there we are, we've now tiled in all of the tiles, we've glued them all in place, and they're looking really good. But the next thing is we've got to wait for this to dry, and then we can grout in between them, and this will make a great larder cupboard. So I'm really happy with that. It's looking fantastic. Just got to let it dry, get the grouting in, and we'll be done. There we are. So what we've done is we've used the same grout as we had from the kitchen, and obviously grouted it put the grout in the gaps, then we use like a rubber thing that goes along it that pushes it all in, and then we sponge it down. Just going to let that dry, and then what we'll probably do is clean it with a bit of vinegar, which will take that sort of film off as well. But it's looking really good. I'm really happy with that. And that's the cupboard nearly finished. There we are, it's all done. Everything's packed in. It's taken a bit of a mission to get it all looking good and tidy. But I'm really happy with it. We've got the tiles here, which are going to keep everything cool. And it looks like a fantastic larder cupboard. And if I close it, it looks really, really good, as if we've paid lots of money for it. So really happy with that. I hope you enjoyed watching my video and watching me do this. Make sure you subscribe by clicking our logo on the screen now. And I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Cheers guys, bye.